In fact, we are cutting out of that story and getting some breaking news now on the broadcast, and this concerns the news about the wrestlers. Now we've been told that wrestler Sakshi Malik has left the wrestlers stir. She's in fact withdrawn herself from the protest. This is the huge input that we are getting as far as the wrestlers' protest is concerned. Sakshi Malik has decided to leave the stir. What really has caused this decision by Sakshi Malik is something that we'd have to wait and watch for, but there's a huge input that we are getting. Sakshi Malik leaving that entire agitation after months of putting together that display along with the wrestlers. Why has it happened? Let me actually bring in my colleague Akash Sharma for more details. Akash, why has Sakshi Malik decided to withdraw from the stir?
We don't know. We can't confirm as to what led to this particular decision by Sakshi Malik. But yes, this is for the benefit of our viewers that we are learning that Sakshi Malik has basically joined back, her service in Northern Railways. In fact, the headquarters of Northern Railways, which is Baroda House near India Gate. As far as the information that we have, she joined back on 31st, after one day after the whole lot of drama that was witnessed in Haridwar. And, at that point in time, in fact, we got to know that some ministers called the wrestlers, and after some sort of assurance on that phone call, wrestlers, decided to just return back and decided to give 5 days additional, for the arrest and for all those demands that they put forward. As of now, this is, on the basis of the sources that Sakshi Malik has basically joined her service back in Northern Railways, and in fact, she is serving as, officer on special duty in Northern Railways, and she has joined back.
Help us understand something. There are obviously conjectures that are going to be made after this particular decision has been made by Sakshi Malik, because she was one of the prime faces of this entire protest. We are talking on a day when there have been witness statements that have been recorded before a magistrate. Also, the minor victim has recorded her statement once again. And even as that is happening, we hear of this news as one of the prime faces of this protest has decided to withdraw. Is there a pressure angle that is also being looked at the moment?
It cannot be ruled out, but you see, Griha, as of now, we were unable to contact Sakshi Malik, and in fact, there is a buzz around that she has parted, she has in fact changed her mind and she is not a part of protest anymore. However, we still have no confirmation on that, and we'll try to, contact her on the same, and we'll try to get her version as well. But as far as the current piece is concerned, so this is confirmed that she has joined back, and in fact, the Northern Railways is the zone where she is serving as officer on special duty, and she has joined back in the Northern Railways.
Okay. All right. Akash, we'd let you go and help pick more details on this story that is still developing, but a bit breaking news nonetheless. Sakshi Malik has withdrawn from the protest. She's in fact resumed her duty with the Northern Railways. My colleague Shivani Gupta is also joining us live from the newsroom of CNN News 18. Shivani, this is a big news. Sakshi Malik withdrawing from the protest. Two aspects that can be looked at over here, considering there is a huge calamity that has befallen the Northern Railways. Maybe her services are required, and that's why she's decided to go ahead and join the services. Or there is more to it that meets the high. Is there a pressure tactic that is at play, which has resulted in Sakshi Malik withdrawing from the protest? Everything is up for conjecture at the moment.
So there is yet to be an official confirmation that she has withdrawn from a sit-in protest from Sakshi Malik herself. We've been trying to contact her. But the fact that she is no longer going to sit on a protest does not necessarily mean that she has distanced herself completely from the demands about action against Brij Bhushan Sharan and of, legal action against him. So I could read two things into it. One is that she's rejoined her Northern Railways duty. So as a government officer, you are not allowed to sit in on any protest. So if she has rejoined her duty, which sources are confirming to us, then that just means that in the interim of the investigation ongoing against Brij Bhushan, she is not going to be part of any sit-in protest anymore. But the distinction still needs to be made whether she is completely distancing herself from the allegations that have been made against Brij Bhushan Sharan, or she is only saying that, okay, as the government has been trying to convince these wrestlers that, see, the process is ongoing, both legal and internally in the IOA, trust the process and disband the protest as far as the demands are concerned, wait for the legal action to proceed. So it could be that Sakshi has been convinced that as this illegal inquiry and the case goes on, there is no point in sitting on these dharnas and protests. And maybe she has just decided that I'll rejoin my government job, I will not sit in on a sit-in protest anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean, and we cannot assume that she has distanced herself from all the complaints that have been filed in this case.
Okay, Shivani, that's an important point that you've mentioned. Also, the point to be noted here is that there was a big meeting with the Union Home Minister that happened on Saturday evening. However, from what we are learning through our sources, nothing really came out of that meeting. That also could be one of the reasons maybe that dissuaded her from going ahead and join and probably continue with a sit-in protest like you mentioned and go ahead and resume her duties with Northern Railways?
You know, we could only assume that the fact that the protesting wrestlers have met none other than the Home Minister is indeed a big intervention and a big meeting. While the indication from the wrestlers so far was that nothing conclusive came out of the meeting and they weren't necessarily very happy. The fact that Sakshi Malik on a Monday post that meeting has rejoined her government job certainly indicates that maybe she has changed her mind as far as continuing on a sit-in protest is concerned. You would remember that on Sunday, May 28th, when the new parliament was being inaugurated and the wrestlers chose that time and day to march to the parliament, a fracas broke out and obviously the Delhi police had to, detain them in very harsh conditions, mind you. Since then, they haven't been allowed a place, they haven't even asked for a place from what I know in Delhi to protest again for a sit-in protest. But what did happen meanwhile was they went to Haridwar, they said they wanted to immerse their medals, and obviously they were convinced not to do so. Since then, a lot of pressure has come in from the sports fraternity itself on these athletes to not do anything drastic like that and have faith in the system. Having said that, if Sakshi Malik says, as we are learning, that there is no need for a sit-in protest anymore, it is indeed going to be a big breakthrough in this entire stalemate. Okay. She is one of the 2 Olympic medal winners as far as this sit-in protest is concerned, apart from Bajrang Punia. She had won the bronze in 2016 at the Olympics. So if they lose one of their prime faces, as far as the demand to continue to protest at a location or a site is concerned, that certainly possibly will go a long way in convincing the others too, like Vinesh Phogat, Sangeeta Phogat and Bajrang, that okay, let us see where the legal case goes. The charge sheet is to be filed very soon because the time is coming up. And then let's reassess the situation. I just reiterate one more time that she's joined her government job. By virtue of that, she cannot be part of any sit-in protests as rules. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's taking back the charges that even she has made against Brij Bhushan Sharan. So that distinction needs to be made.
Okay, Shivani, so 2 things here. You are saying that the wrestlers have not really asked for another place for them to go ahead and sit in protest after the May 28th fracas that really took place. But having said that, when this sort of a news really breaks that Sakshi Malik has decided to stay away from that sit-in protest, what really has given way to these sort of conjectures? Why are people saying that probably she's decided to, just because on the virtue of the fact that she has joined her regular job at the Northern Railways, is this also sort of an attempt to show that she is dejected, and is this also okay enough to probably not rule out the possibility that the other, in this case Bajrang Punia and also the Phogat sisters, are they going to also follow suit as Sakshi Malik?
It's very difficult for me to say that at this stage, Greha, what really made up the mind of Sakshi Malik. As I said, that officially she has not announced this anywhere, as the wrestlers have been constantly giving some updates on their social media handles. We've been trying to connect with her and we've not been able to connect with her just yet. So there is a connection and a connecting of the dots being done. One is that she's rejoined her Northern Railways job. That's a government job by virtue of which she wouldn't have permission to sit in on any protest.